they've taken for us. We want to continue. Interrupters that assist in this effort. We can't police all of our problems away, but we obviously are committed to hiring more officers and policing hotspots in our city. We're also investing in our youth, recreation. We've actually invested over $100 million. Police Chief Bert Rivera.
I take this opportunity to actually thank the police department for doing such an honorable job as you guys be safe. Personal lives every day. Christine Madison, very appreciative of the service. Also the administration for asking the police department to provide us the tools we need to
Thank you, Chief. Now, as I stated earlier, 2 years ago, we saw 126 shootings. That number is now down by 20%. And like I stated before, this is not cause for celebration, but is an opportunity to let the police know, the public know that our efforts are working to drive down violent crime in Patterson, but we still have our work cut out for us in the city. So I want to introduce a gentleman who responds to every shooting, whose work we really appreciate, Detective Captain Pat Murray.
Thank you, Mayor. As the mayor said, in 2022, we've worked heavily and diligently with different partners, be that federal, state, county, and other local authorities. During the year 2022, we've started working with our federal partners through the Violent Crime Initiative, the VCI, which is a statewide initiative run by the U.S. Attorney's Office on a federal level. We've also invested in working heavily with the New Jersey State Police Firearm Trafficking Unit to try to stem the tide of firearms that are coming into our city all too often. And in 2023, we are going to embark on a new crime gun center here in the city of Patterson, which we achieved through federal funding, which will allow us to do a lot of the ballistic and forensic work that previously had to go to a state police lab. We will now be able to process those firearms and process those ballistics here in the city of Patterson, allowing us to have a better turnaround time on that evidence and allow investigators and detectives here in the city of Patterson to be able to use that information rather than have to wait for it to come back from the state police lab. So we have a lot on our plate for 2023. We are diligently working. As the mayor said, we'd be remiss if we didn't recognize the community groups that we are attempting to work closely with day in and day out, be it Operation Ceasefire, our violence interventions group at St. Joseph's Hospital, and many, many other organizations who are here with us day in and day out, some with little or no funding. So we're committed to continuing our efforts to stem the flow of guns, illegal firearms here into our city of Patterson, and as always, to stem the number of violent shootings here in our city. Thank you.
And I also want to reiterate what the captain said relative to the Crime Intelligence Center, which will be the only one in the state of New Jersey. It's actually the nearest Crime Intelligence Center is in Baltimore, Maryland, and that will help us trace those ballistics and also help us identify potentially who the shooters are so we can bring them to justice. So that'll be a major stride in our public safety efforts going forward in 2023. I want to hear from a gentleman who, in the last year or so, saw a spike in his ward, the 5th Ward, but working with our federal partners as a part of this violent crime initiative, we were able to drive down shootings in the 5th Ward. And we attribute that to takedowns of a very violent gang that was operating in his ward. So at this time, I'll call forward on behalf of the City Council, 5th Ward Representative Louis Velez.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, the leadership of Patterson Police. You know, thinking about funding, this is a message to all those that are watching. We need more funding. Funding for our nonprofit that work day in, that day out to make sure that our community feels safe. Also funding for our police department. We need more cops. We need more equipment. We need more supervisors in our city. And those funding will help bring that safety that the community has. A lot of people ask why I'm always behind the mayor in the press conference. Let me tell you why. This is a collaboration between the city council and the administration. We leave politics aside when it comes up to public safety and when it comes up to quality of life. We have to put the politics on the side and make sure that whatever we could do in the city council chambers and our colleagues is to better the city of Patterson. And I could say this, if we have recovered all these firearms, if you know that you have a firearm in your house, you're part of the crime, please turn it over. We want to save lives. We want to make sure that people out there don't get hurt. We want to make sure that our hospitals are not full of victims of gun violence. We want to make sure that our kids who walk down the street without thinking that they're not going to return back home. So saying that, Mayor, you know, a lot of people could criticize that we're not doing enough. Well, I got this question. What are you doing to make sure that we are working together? Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. The council broached the collaborative efforts that we're taking between the executive and legislative branches. Within the American Rescue Plan, we have an allocation of $1 million for community organizations that want to help us interrupt violence to apply for it, whether it's Ceasefire, Operation Ceasefire, or the Patterson Healing Collective. There is an opportunity for grassroots organizations, the violence interrupters, to continue their work with us to drive down violent crime. But ultimately, it's not about just an overall big picture of violent crime. It's about humanizing this. Nearly 1 year ago, Robert Quadro, an 18-year-old in Patterson, was helping his grandmother with her groceries and unfortunately was caught in crossfire. A young man with a very promising future who had a full-ride scholarship to Montclair State University, unfortunately gunned down, leaving a grandmother to grieve and his mother to mourn. This is what it's about, making sure that there are fewer funerals, fewer parents grieving their children, fewer family members having to mourn the loss of their loved ones. Thank you, and I'll take questions from the media.
Not the public?
We can talk later.
So, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
The numbers, when you look at them, before the pandemic, the numbers were down less than they are right now.
Yeah.
So, okay, we did have that pandemic spike, but how do you get back to the numbers that?
Yeah. Well, I want to emphasize or underscore that we're still in this pandemic. People are getting COVID. That's why yesterday we announced that we're reinstituting the mask mandate, and tomorrow we're unveiling a new multi-purpose mobile unit. Because we have a triple-demic, so Patterson's looking to double down, whether it's the flu, RSV, or COVID-19. We have a new unit that's going to get out to the hard-to-reach residents because we're having an issue with booster shots. People think that it's over. And Dr. James Brewer will tell you, one of the first cases in New Jersey of COVID-19, it is not over. COVID-19 is still with us. It's going to be with us for a long time, if not for the rest of our lives. And so as long as we continue to try to turn the page on this pandemic, gun violence is unfortunately an epidemic within a pandemic that we have to address, and that's why we need all the partners to help us make more progress in public safety.
How do you get back to the numbers before the current?
Well, I mean, we are going to continue to work with community organizations. We're going to continue to hire more police officers. We're going to continue to remove guns off the streets. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, our narcotics division removed 6 weapons. We're what? Now it was 3 days. 3 days into the new year, they took 6 weapons already in one night. That's what we're up against as far as gun violence is concerned.
How do you address these folks here, not seeing the signs of
Yeah, we've done everything we can to assist the Hellman Police Department, which is the lead investigatory unit, and we will continue
What have you done
to
for the
assist.
family? Not the.
Well, as you were told, Director Spezial deals directly.
Yeah, the family.
When I met with you, we made that abundantly clear.
It's been almost a year. Y'all don't even
Yeah.
acknowledge the
We do
family.
want to
No,
find
Yeah.
Why you looking at them now? Because you said something. You don't even
Yep.
know this is
Any other questions?
You is so disrespectful to this
You
family.
went missing by
Thank you very much for joining us.
You officer was the last one to have
And that's the mayor. How
Not
can
that
you
serious.
sit
officer
up
was the
here
last
and
one to have
smile?
in custody.
Y'all,
know
embarrassment.
That's why you walk away from the family always.
And you always run.
You always walk away from the
You
family.
can't give this family no answers. It's almost a year. Y'all disgusting and disgraceful. All of y'all need to go. Come and talk to them.
That's why you always walk away from us.
That's always what you do.
Yeah, my Feliciano done this for real, who was the last officer to have my brother in custody. And then my brother's missing 11 and a half
It's
hours.
horrible. It don't make no sense. But if it was one of y'all family members, the city would be shut the fuck down. Y'all don't know acknowledge the family at all. And that's what y'all always do. Run. A whole year of running. When y'all gonna get some answers? Shit don't make no sense. Horrible. Here you go. Oh, sheriff. No, you nigga. You running the city. Fucking
He's lying. Everything that he said was lying. How you know how?
But remember, the devil is a liar.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he look away. Yeah, yeah.
They all do. That's why they go